Hello, I'm Jashikins, and welcome back to Jash Reads. Tonight, we're going to be continuing reading Animorphs number 5, The Predator by K.A. Applegate. Yay! I wonder why these people moved, Cassie said. Maybe they didn't like living next door to a controller who is part of a conspiracy to take over the world, I said. Or else maybe they just don't like assistant principals. I could understand that. The house next to Chapman's. It was empty. There was a for sale sign in the front yard. It did make you kind of wonder why these people had decided to move. Not that Chapman ever acted strange. That's the big problem with controllers. You can never tell who is or who isn't. It's convenient for us, anyway, Jake said. It was night. The moon was high and full and bright, so we were hiding beneath a tree. There was a high wooden fence between us and Chapman's. Axe was just changing from his human morph back into his andalite body. We had already acquired some ants earlier, at Cassie's barn. We were getting ready to do it. I was scared. Badly scared. I guess the others were too. Everyone was talking too much, the way you do when you're nervous. Cassie was shivering like she was cold, only it was about 70 degrees out. Tobias? I asked. He was in the tree, just a few inches over my head on a low branch. How well can you see? I think I'll be able to see you as long as you stay above ground, he said. The moonlight helps, but I'm not nearly as good at night as I am during the day. My eyes are much better than yours in the dark. Swell, I said. Jake glanced at his watch. It's time. We know Chapman will be at the meeting of the sharing starting about now. The sharing is a front organization for controllers. It's a way for controllers to get together without anyone being suspicious. Supposedly, it's just a sort of combined Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. In reality, it's a way for the controllers to recruit willing hosts. Yes, believe it or not, some people choose to accept your control. We didn't have to ask how Jake knew about the meaning of the sharing. Jake's brother, Tom, is one of them. A controller who is very into the sharing. You ready, Axe? Jake asked. The Andalite had to be back in Andalite form before he could morph. Just like all of us had to be human before morphing into another being. Once Cassie had tried morphing straight from one animal to another. Nothing had happened, and Cassie is the best morpher. I am ready, Huck said. Everyone ready? Jake asked. Yep, Rachel said. Even she sounded tense. There was a bad feeling hanging over this whole thing. Or maybe I was just being paranoid. Okay, Jake said. As soon as we're all morphed, we head across the grass, down along the wall, underground. We find a crack or a hole and enter the basement. Yeah, nothing to it, I said. I concentrated on the ant I had acquired earlier. There wasn't much to think about, really. When I'd held the ant in my hand, it had just been this tiny little dot. You could see that it had a sectioned body and legs, but that was about it. The morphine began very quickly. Whoa! Falling, falling. That was the first sensation. I was shrinking rapidly. The ground was rushing up at me. It was like one of those nightmares where you are falling and falling but never seem to hit the ground. I was still maybe a foot tall when my skin seemed to turn crisp, as if it had been burned. It became hard, harder than fingernails and glossy black. I looked over at Cassie and nearly screamed. She was farther along than me, only a foot tall and hard-shelled black all over, glistening, rigid, plastic-looking skin. Her legs were shriveling rapidly, so were her arms, although they had become longer to match her legs. The third set of legs was growing out of her chest. And her face? Her face was no longer human. Her head was sort of teardrop shaped. Wickedly curved mandibles were growing out of her mouth. Huge, slashing, deadly looking serrated jaws. Her eyes had gone flat and dead. Just black dots. Antennae, looking almost like another set of legs, sprouted from her forehead. Her waist was pinched tight. Her lower body swelled till it looked as big as a watermelon. I didn't want to watch because I knew that all these same changes were happening to me. I knew it. I didn't want to think about it. I just wanted it to be over. I wanted the changes to be done. Suddenly, all around me, huge, raspy spears shot up out of the ground. Grass! I was diminishing to true insect size. The rough, sharp shafts that were rising all around me were just blades of grass. They weren't growing. I was shrinking. One exploded directly under me. I tumbled end over end, and then my eyesight failed. My eyes simply stopped functioning. I was blind and falling, rolling, cartwheeling down the side of a blade of grass. I was standing upright. I knew that I had stopped falling, but I was blind. No, not completely blind. It was not just blackness, but my eyes saw no detail. I could see patches of light and areas of darkness, but they were misty and fragmented, and my brain was not interested in them. No, the world was not about sight anymore. It was all something else. I knew I was getting something, a sense, a feeling almost. Then I could feel my antennae waving back and forth, searching. No, they were smelling. My antennae were smelling. I was looking for a scent, several scents. It was not like human smell, not like Jake had described dog scent when he morphed his dog Homer. That kind of scent is full of possibilities, subtleties. This was different. I was looking for just a few scents, just a few smells. I tried to prepare myself. I had been through this before. There's usually a time, a brief few seconds, before the animal mind appears with all its fears and hunger and intensity. I needed to be prepared. Hands were tiny and weak. Surely their fear would be extreme. I, I would have to be. Then, wham! The ant's mind erupted inside my own. There was no fear. None. There was no hunger. There was no self. No me. No me. No. My antennae swept the air. Strange. Not home. Not the colony. Enemy territory. Smell them. Smell their droppings. Smell the acrid odors they smeared along the ground to mark their boundaries. How are you guys doing? It's Tobias. How are you guys doing? Strangers. The smell of others. They would come. There would be killing. Killing soon. Move. Jake, Marco, Rachel, Cassie, answer me. It's Tobias. Talk to me. I began moving. My 6 legs picked their way nimbly. I was a nearly blind insect, picking his way through a forest of giant saw-edged grass blades. Food. The smell of food. Find it. Take it. Return to the colony with it. Change direction instantly. Move toward the smell of dead beetle. Others around. Us. Ours. They had the right smell. They were not enemy. You guys are heading the wrong way. Moving faster now. Feet feeling each blade of grass. Antennae sweeping the air. Searching for the scent of the enemy. Searching for the scent of the dead carcass that we had to find and return to the colony. Listen to me! You're going the wrong way! The ant minds are controlling you! Close now. The scent of food was stronger. Mandibles working. We would touch the carcass. We would judge its size. If it was too big to carry, we would hack it into smaller pieces and carry the chunks to the colony. You have to take control. You have to fight. You have to get a grip. Or enemies would come and kill. The smell of enemies was everywhere. There, we had reached the dead beetle. I scented the air. I touched it with my legs, touching again and again to learn the size. My legs, confusion. Fight! Fight it! You have to get control! It was big. The others were with me. I opened my cunning mandibles wide and bit into the beetle, slicing tough shell, biting into meat. Listen to me. You are losing. You have to fight. Fight? Suddenly, I realized that there had been something. A sound. Yes. Not a smell. Not a smell. Not a feel. You are humans! You are humans! Listen to me! You are not ants! Fight it! Fight it! Yes, not a smell or feel. In my head. Me. Marco! Ah! I screamed inside my own head. Tobias said later that it scared him half to death. He thought I was being killed. That wasn't it at all. I had been reborn. What's the matter? Tobias cried. I lost myself. I said, I was gone. I was lost. I didn't even exist. Get out of that morph, Tobias said, but I could hear the others now, snapping back into reality, becoming again, crying. What kind of creatures are these? It was Axe. He sounded terrified. They have no self. I was lost. There was nothing to hold on to. They are not whole. They are only parts, like cells, just pieces. What kind of foul creatures are these? Listen, you guys, morph back. Tobias said, this sucks. This isn't right. A hive, Cassie said, sounding shattered. There's social insects, part of a colony. Hive, I should have guessed. I should have known. Hex is right. Each of us is only a part, like a single cell within a human body. Guys, I see other ants. They're coming your way, Tobias said. How far away? Jake asked. Can you see them up there? I'm not in the tree. I'm right here. I'm standing right over you. You're only a few inches from my right talon. I don't want to have to do this all over, Rachel said. Let's do this. Let's get it done. Are we all in control now? Jake asked. One by one, we said yes. It was only partially true. Yes, I had gained control over the ant mind, but it was still there. It was powerful in a totally new way. It was the simplicity that made it hard. The ant was a piece of a computer, just a tiny switch, a part of a much bigger creature, the colony. Guys? Cassie's voice in my head. If you try, you can kind of use these ant eyes. A little, actually. If you concentrate, you can notice light and dark. It's like watching a really, really bad black and white TV that's almost all snow. And you can only see what's right in front of you. But you can almost see a picture. She was right. I could kind of see. Well, nothing I saw made any sense anyway. I could recognize blades of grass, but a long, sloped wall that seemed about 6 feet high was a mystery to me. Someone just ran over my talon, Tobias said. The wall. Tobias's talon. That's good. You're heading in the right direction, Tobias said. You're coming up on the fence. If there was a fence, you couldn't prove it by me. I saw nothing. The bottom of the fence was 7 or 8 body lengths above me. Relevant. I don't want to go into Chapman's yard, Tobias said. It would look fishy if anyone saw. Just keep going in the same direction. We did. I barreled through a forest of grass. Then, very suddenly, it ended. We were out of the grass and racing across a moonscape of boulders, each the size of my head. In my aunt brain, the alarm bells were still ringing. Enemies! Enemies! Their scent was everywhere. But it was not fear I felt from the ant brain. It was not capable of emotion or anything like emotion. It simply knew that there were enemies close by, and it knew that it would come down sooner or later to kill or be killed. And that's the end of that lovely, happy, uplifting fucking chapter. Now, one of the things that I can give this chapter a free pass for doing, since these are all like 13-year-olds, is Cassie not realizing ants were social insects and didn't really realize what that meant when morphing. She didn't realize that you would just not feel anything. Like it would be a loss of self and be much different than a regular things they morph. So I could give her a free pass for that because she's like 13 years old. And yeah, that's because if it was an adult, like maybe mid-20s, early 30s, like, and the person that age range made that mistake, it'd be like, okay, that's a fucking plot hole. But for this, it actually sort of works. Because this, while they do all these heroic things and non-heroic things, you gotta remember, these are still kids dealing with being children's soldiers. Yeah, I feel a lot of pressure doing this chapter and the next two, especially, goddamn, the chapter after the next one, just because, like, this is the moment where, like, big shit's gonna have to happen, and it's very memorable in the Animorphs fandom, so, you know, it's like, hey, I know no one really fucking watches me, but I have to do my best just in case. And god, this Animorph is a very iconic morph. like you talk to a Fanmorph and you're like, oh yeah, the Animorph, like, oh fuck. And you saw part of the horror there when Marco just loses himself. And it takes a while for him to realize, oh yeah, I'm a person. No, fuck. Oh yeah. So, what did you think of this chapter? Please comment below so we can start a nice, nerdy conversation. But remember, no major spoilers. I'm sort of hoping that newcomers to the series are brought into the fandom because of my videos, or they're just already sort of trying to figure out the fandom and they're like, oh yeah, let me just watch this video or two. And so, but if you do want to talk spoilers to me, if you're watching on the YouTube's, link in the description. And that link is to my Tumblr Ask box. Is where you can talk about anything spoilery, including maybe some fan theories. And let's see. Also, hey, if you're one of those newcomers to the fandom and you're like, hey, I would really love to read Animorphs number 5, The Predator, but I just don't have my own copy. If you are watching on the YouTubes, link in the description. If you are watching on my blog, link down below. And both links will take you to where you can buy your own. Sorry, I'm like holding back a yawn for some fucking reason. Anyways, and those links will take you to where you can buy your own lovely copy of Animorphs number 5, The Predator by Kay Applegate. So, and if you're watching this on the YouTubes, please like this video and click subscribe. And if you're watching this on my blog, and you're watching on the desktop version of my blog, go over to the sidebar thingy-majig and click on follow by email. Okay, and now we get the real life segment where I talk about something that interests me that happened in real life. In this case, me watching a Netflix show, The Haunting of Hill House. Holy fuck, I might sit down and like write a script for a review of the show. It is just an amazing little show. And gosh, one of the good things that I can say without fear of spoiling something important is that I like how the horror is done. The horror is there. It's there are scary moments, parts where I'm just like yelping at the screen. I was really glad to be watching in a room separate from my husband, just so yeah, I was free to talk to the TV because there are some genuinely scary moments. But the thing is, it's not like there's jump scares every 5 or 6 seconds. This is much more dependent on the atmosphere, building up an atmosphere, as well as the characters. So it's really great. So if you have not seen it and you can see it, definitely go check it out. Just yeah. Gosh, that was quite a trip. I like shortly before filming this chapter, I watched it and I'm like still like what the fuck I just watched. It was awesome. And it might take me like a day or two to actually fucking process how I felt. It is great. You should definitely check it out. And now for the Hopeful Wishes segment. The Hopeful Wishes segment is where I say some hopeful wishes and I drink. And tonight, the drink of choice is water. Lovely water here. Love the coffee cup I'm using today. But anyways, you can join the segment in 2 ways. The first is you can submit your own hopeful wish by just commenting down below and it will be read next episode. And your hopeful wish can be anything to some minor hope to something actually major and life defining. I mean, it could be simple as, well, I hope it doesn't rain tomorrow. Because, hey, sometimes that can be an important thing. Like, if you're going places, rain can definitely be a factor you don't want to deal with. The other way to join in the segment is to drink along with me. Drink your favorite alcohol, liquor, or whatever the fuck's lying around. Say, fuck. Sorry. You can also join along with me by drinking your favorite alcohol, liquor, or whatever's lying around. And if you don't drink for whatever reason, drink water, tea, iced tea, and a bunch of other non-alcoholic beverages. So, no one sent me any hopeful wishes, so I can't exactly read something that doesn't exist. And so I'm going to read my own hopeful wishes. First off is I hope you are all doing good both mentally and physically because no one needs to deal with medical bullshit. Nope. Wish I didn't have to, but that's a story for another day. I hope that Rev Resner continues on with his recovery. I hope these panic attacks that have been affecting me for like the past couple of days, like worse than normal, subside, and I go into my usual nice, happy-ish demeanor. Uh, and like, and hopefully I can sleep peacefully after watching the show. Like this, like the haunting of Hill House is just going to be affecting me for the last few days, next few days, last few days, whatever. And okay, I'm going to start drinking. And 3, 2, 1. And that's it. And the next video will be more of the dramatic reading of Animorphs number 5, The Predator by K. Applegate, and that will air shortly. Except if the internet wants to fuck up again. Until next video, goodbye.